It is time for the King of Skull Island to awaken.
Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Hey everyone, Lucimus Prime here, so it's time for the next review in my review series for the films being, of course, in the franchise of the Monsterverse. And this is the second installment to that franchise, which focuses on a new monster, one who, of course, is a fan favourite among fans of monsters and kaijus in movie history. And this is like a reboot for that character, which takes place in this shared universe. And this one, of course, is none other than 2017's Kong Skull Island. So, now how was this film made then? So this was directed by Jordan Vogt Roberts. It was announced in July 2014 at San Diego Comic-Con, with him announced as a director in September that same year. It initially began as a Universal Pictures origin story, but was then later moved to Warner Brothers to be part of a shared universe of Godzilla and King Kong. Filming began in October 2015 in Hawaii and various locations around Vietnam and ended in March 2016 with a big ensemble cast in this film. The film was then theatrically released on March 10, 2017 to a generally positive reviews from critics, with praise for its visual effects, action sequences, and performances, particularly those of Samuel L. Jackson and John C. Reilly. It was also a box office success, grossing $568 million worldwide, becoming the second highest grossing installment in the Monsterverse and in the King Kong franchise to date as well. It even received a Best Visual Effects nomination at the 90th Academy Awards. When it comes to my reaction to this film then, so I saw this film at the cinema in 2017, and in my opinion it was really good. And it might be, in my opinion, the weakest out of Monsterverse that I've seen, but I still think that, in my opinion, it's a really good movie. I mean, it does not come close, in my opinion, to Peter Jackson's King Kong film from 2005. That one, in my opinion, is the best King Kong film I've ever seen in my life. But when it comes to this one, I still think it's really good, but I would probably say the weakest out of Monsterverse for me. So what is it about then? So, set in 1973, the film follows a team of scientists and Vietnam War soldiers travelling to the uncharted Skull Island and meeting Kong, a gigantic ape who is the last of his species, closely followed by other terrifying creatures. So, when it comes to what I think is good about this film then, so I think it has a really great cast of actors. So, the main character of this film is James Conrad, who's played by Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston's a great actor, and I think he did a great job playing Conrad in this film. He made him a very likeable character, in my opinion, really good to watch in this film. I also, as well, definitely loved Samuel L. Jackson as Colonel Preston Packard in this film. He's a character who starts as a protagonist, but then as the film evolves, he becomes an antagonist towards Kong. Because at the start of the film, of course, Kong takes down several of his own men, and that drives him to end up hating Kong and wanting to kill him. So I think Samuel Jackson's performance in this film was amazing, and he definitely showed how much of a good character Packard is in terms of development, from, of course, a hero to a villain. I really like that. There's also other good characters in this too. For example, you've also got Bill Randa, who's played by John Goodman. John Goodman is a great actor and a great voice actor as well, and I think he played Randa really well, in my opinion, although he's unfortunately in the first half of the film before he unfortunately gets killed off, sadly, but I still think John Goodman was great as him, what he was given, in my opinion. But there's also, as well, the photographer Mason Weaver. She was also, in my opinion, a likeable character as well in this film. She had good chemistry with her characters played by Brie Larson. There's also, as well, San Lin, played by Jing Tian. I think Jing Tian did a really good job playing San in this film. There's also Toby Kebbell in this as Jack Chapman, who's a major right-hand man to Packard. I think he did a good job playing him in this film, but sadly he wasn't in the film very much, which was a big shame. John Ortiz was also good in this as Victor Neves as well, and also Corey Hawkins as Houston Brooks, who of course is Randa's assistant in this. And in the next one of the franchise, the character also returns as a connection to this film, which was really cool, played by Joe Morton. And also as well, I think one particular character in this film who I think was definitely standout, also because he was funny, was definitely Hank Marlowe, played by John C. Reilly, who of course is the US Army Air Force's lieutenant who was stranded on Skull Island for nearly 29 years since World War II. He was, in my opinion, a really funny character, in my opinion, in this film. And definitely, in my opinion, the film's most interesting character because of his story being on the island for nearly 30 years, which is insane. And also his story being a soldier as well, I definitely really love that. we win, of course, see the opening of the film where, of course, he crash lands on the island, of course, when he was younger. And he was played, of course, by Will Britton as his younger self. And Will Britton would also play his son at the end of the film as well. And other great things about this film is also, for me, the visual effects. Because, in my opinion, visual effects for this are great. King Kong, in my opinion, looks really amazing. And the CGI, in my opinion, is really great for him. And in my opinion, it holds up really well for a 2017 movie. And furthermore, as well, I also love how they took inspiration from King Kong's early appearances when he first appeared in the media. You know, around the time when he first appeared, when he was massive. I really love how they took inspiration from that, really. It shows they definitely care about being, faithful to the source material, really. I thought that was really good. And I think they did a great job with that. And the creatures, as well as Kong, in my opinion, were also well done, in my opinion. They're pretty scary. They may not come close, in my opinion, into the Bugs in 2005 movie. Especially when it comes to the ones, of course, in that attack scene, which really scared the life out of me when I saw that film. But they were still, in my opinion, really well designed in this and pretty scary in some parts, especially in the kill scenes in particular. Because the film does feature a few gory kills, done a little back on them, so at least it showed of that really as well. I also thought the story is also very well paced too as well, because the film has a pacing in terms of a runtime of 180 minutes, so it's 2 minutes short of being 2 hours. But in my opinion, it's really well paced because the film even starts with an action scene, of course, with Kong appearing in the first 5 minutes, which is pretty awesome. So I definitely love that about it. And also as well, I also love the musical score. It's composed by Henry Jackman. I think his music was really good and very intense in many areas, which fit the scenes really well, in my opinion. And when it comes as well to this film, what I really appreciate about it is, when it comes to today's shared universe stuff compared to this, is I love how even though it takes place in the same universe as a Monsterverse, it stays focused on the main characters and, of course, King Kong. It doesn't focus on setting up a shared universe or any rubbish like that. It stays focused on the story of King Kong, and I really appreciate that. I mean, the fact they set it in the 1970s is definitely a good way to do that, because it's a prequel, effectively, to the Monsterverse films. And in my opinion, they did a really great job with that. And that, of course, allowed them to introduce new characters without, of course, affecting the later films, of course. And, of course, the previous film, Godzilla, from 2014. So I really appreciate that. It isn't until the end of the film when they, of course, confirm the shared universe, because in a post-credit scene, of course, we see archive footage of cave paintings of Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah. And as well as, of course, the scene ends, we hear Godzilla's roar. So that was definitely, in my opinion, a very good setup for more to come. And the final image in particular, of course, foreshadowed the next film, which was Godzilla King of the Monsters. And in that film, of course, we saw Houston Brooks from this film appearing as an older version of himself, played by Joe Morton this time. So I think that I definitely really appreciate this film a lot for that reason, because despite being part of the Godzilla and King Kong shared universe, it stays focused on the story. And even though it does have lots of good action scenes, it also has some heartwarming moments too as well. For example, I love the ending where Hank Marlowe reunites with his family and he gets to watch a Chicago Cubs game on TV. That was definitely really heartwarming for him, considering he'd been on scoreline for nearly 30 years. And it was definitely great to see. And there's also, as well, tragic parts. For example, Hank Marlowe's friend being killed by one of the skull crawlers, who, by the way, are absolutely terrifying creatures, I must say. I think they were definitely well designed, in my opinion. And I also as well believe this film also pays homage to older films too, in terms of fight scenes. For example, King Kong fighting the Mia Squid is very similar to a scene from a film called King Kong vs. Godzilla, which was pretty cool how they did that as an inspiration. And even homages to a 1976 movie of King Kong as well. So I love how this film, while being a brand new film, like a reboot of King Kong, if you will, paid homage to before it. So I definitely really love that about it. And I think they did a really good job of it. However, if I was thinking about qualities with this film then, so when it comes, of course, to how the film ended, I do feel it ended a little bit rushed, in my opinion. I mean, it was well acted, in my opinion, and was well paced with very good fight scenes, but I think it could have been done a little bit better, in my opinion, to be honest, really. Like, the way they just, depart like that, I think there could have been more than that, to be completely honest. And probably, like, more of the interactions with Kong before they leave, basically. I think we could have probably executed that a bit better, in my opinion. And some characters I also feel lacked chemistry, mainly because they were unfortunately underused. For example, Bill Randa, while he was great by John Goodman, what he had, I didn't like how he only appeared in the first half and unfortunately got killed off, which really sucks. And also when it comes to Chapman as well, it was especially sad how he got killed as well, because they of course see his skull come out of one of the creatures because they ate him unfortunately. Yeah, it was worse how it also his tag on the skull, which was definitely really sad, and how they showed that. Big shame, really. So I feel some characters unfortunately lack chemistry because of that, sadly, because some were underused. I mean, they didn't have a chance to have good chemistry, which really sucks. But nonetheless, I still think for what it is worth, it's a decent film. It might be released first in the Monsterverse, but I still think it's a good film, in my opinion. One day I'll definitely pause a review for the 2005 King Kong movie, because that's my favourite King Kong movie, and I definitely really want to review that. But if I was to give this film a score out of 10, though, I'd probably give it a very solid score of 7 out of 10, in my opinion. It might be, in my opinion, the weakest out of Monsterverse films, but I still think for what it is worth, it's a good movie, and definitely something worth watching when it comes to this shared universe. Because it helps set up, of course, King Kong being part of the same universe as Godzilla. And then, of course, he later showed up to fight Godzilla in a pretty awesome film for 2021, which I'm definitely looking forward to reviewing. But first, I'll, of course, be reviewing King of Monsters next week. So, guys, this is me, of course, doing my review for 2017's Kong Skull Island. So, you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to let me know in the comments what you guys think of Kong Skull Island. If you similarly think comments below what you think of it. Also, be sure to join Team Prime by pressing subscribe to come in the future, and I'll see you all later.